Hey, what's up, y'all? Welcome to Conversations with Heavy Cardboard. Today I am excited to learn about a piece of history that up until the time I heard about this game, I had never ever heard about. So today I am fortunate to be joined by somebody whose name I'm going to butcher, and he's going to make fun of me about it, but that's okay. That's Bruss Brussco, designer of the upcoming DerrocAr. DerrocAr from Ion Game Design. So, Bruce, thanks for joining today. Bruce, you there? Can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
All right, there we go. Hey.
Hi, Edward. I heard the YouTube
Okay.
background, so I'm going mad. Hello, Edward. How are you?
I'm doing well. Thanks for hanging out. We've now Bruce and I have been talking behind the scenes before we get started. Today should be a lot of fun. Today's going to be a good time, I think. So before we go get into the game itself, give folks a little bit of background on you. How'd you get into the hobby? How'd you get into board games?
I play board games since I remember as a kid. I didn't remember the moment when I played to move. I learned to move the pieces on the chess. Something that my family teach me when I was kid, and keep playing the family games, the regular games, the classic game, until Magic the Gathering appears in the 94, 93. I didn't remember exactly the year, and that was, wow, oh my God. That is awesome. I'm still playing Magic. And then several years before, I don't know, 10 years after that, I realized that there are a war of new board games that be there to be discovered, and it was amazing. It was incredible. I enter splash full on the ocean, and I'm trying to breathe surrounded of games.
I can relate. When I got into the hobby in 2013, I went from, I think we originally bought 5 board games, and then within the first year had 500 board games. So I can completely understand that. Now, for those that don't know at home, so Bruce, obviously, he's Argentinian, and your English is very good, by the way. So good job on that.
I'm still a learner.
I guarantee that your English is better than my Spanish.
I agree with that. I can hear you pronounce the name of the game, and I agree.
I'm trying to roll my R's better, right? So DerrocAr, see?
Hey, great.
All right. How'd you go from being excited about all these board games to wanting to design games? Now, I know that DerrocAr is you're going to be your second published game. The first one seemed like a really light, almost kids game. Yeah, Kinmo.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, that's right. Wasn't designed as a kid games, but was designed as a gateway.
Oh, a gateway game. Okay. All right. Yeah.
But the kids love it. The kids really love it. The game becomes a really fun and want to play more and more and more. That's why in the second edition we use a graphic more
kid-friendly graphic. Yeah, sure. Yeah, that makes sense. I get that.
Exactly, because and is from another publisher that is the greatest publisher hit, but not a mother board game publisher. Is the one that has the licenses of Mattel
Okay.
and publish Pictionary, Uno,
So a lot of mainstream type
Scrabble.
games. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. And the game is selling now in toy stores and supermarket. Is another level of industry that not in the store of board games.
Oh, so
No?
like mass market stuff. So it's in, like you
Exactly.
said, that's awesome. That's got to feel good,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, sure it is. You're sure it is. Because when I designed Kinmo, my idea was to be a publisher, and when I defined that I want to start a publisher here in Argentina. The hobby was really small. Too few people know about the modern games here in Argentina. That's why I think that the first release of Pasacronos is the name of the publisher.
Right.
The first game has to be a gateway. So
Okay.
I introduce the new world of board game step by step, growing in difficulty.
Yeah, to teach people, hey, first off, there
Exactly.
is a board game world, and then just kind of ramp it up from there, right?
Exactly. That's why I designed a game that could be played by everyone, but that has a hang, engancho sería que tenga un gancho, un hook.
Okay, yeah, okay,
Has
all right,
a
I
hook
got you.
for the real gamers.
Okay.
No? So there has the game has different levels of strategy, so you can play it more relaxed, just changing card and making suit, or be more strategic on what kind of gem you pick, or color, and how interact with the other player.
So basically, what you're saying is, if you were playing it with either new gamers or younger gamers, you can, play it at that level. But if you and I were to play the game, then it would be at a different level, right?
Exactly.
Okay.
That's what was. Yeah.
No, I was going to ask. So, what made you want to design and publish to begin with? How'd you go from playing games to wanting to do that?
I saw the opportunity to grow on that. I'm a musician, and the thing is always hard to working as a musician.
Okay.
It's a dreaming life, but
Sure.
when you have to pay the bills,
I was going to say, you still want to be able to eat.
exactly. So I saw the opportunity to invest some save money and say, hey, this could work, and really work. It was really well, but also was a really hard work, a lot of work. So that's why in a moment I decided to go. I have to focus on one of the department of being a publisher, and I believe that the creative part is my big advantage. I'm a creative guy, so that's why I decided to go and let the other publishers release my games, and that's why the main publisher here in Argentina opened the doors to me to release the second edition of Kinmo.
All right. So basically, it's your creative outlet, and you didn't want to have to deal with all the stuff that comes with publishing, and there's a lot of stuff that you don't appreciate when you're not on that side of it.
Exactly.
And so this way you're like, look, I'll just design the games and hand them off. Here, you have it.
Exactly. You already talked with John. You already talked with Besime, and you know that there is a lot of work behind each game.
It's one of those things to where you see the finished product and you don't always appreciate what it took to get to that point. And there's a lot that goes into board game publishing, and it's not a lucrative business, and it's a labor of love. It has to be something you love to do.
If you didn't feel passion, you can work on the board game industry.
That is spot on. Very, very true. So how did you go from a gateway game like Kinmo to, you know what I want to do? I want to take one of the most tumultuous periods in my country's history, and I want to make a board game about that. Yeah, that sounds fun. So where did the idea for DerrocAr, where did that come from?
I work in very different than the other designers.
Okay.
Because I need the zanahoria, the carrot. I need the carrot behind me.
Yeah.
No, behind me, before me.
You have to be striving for something. Yeah, I got you. Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. So I haven't the idea of the DerrocAr before I met Ion.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah, Ion Game Design being the publisher that has picked up the game and is publishing it. All right.
Yes. So when appeared the possibility to meet Ion, that's when I think I have to give you an interesting idea to them. I have to give them an interesting idea. If I go with Kinmo, I know that Kinmo didn't fit in the catalog of Ion. So I met them in Essen. I had a possibility to be in Essen for the first time in the 19.
Okay.
And was awesome.
It's amazing.
For me.
Yes.
It was a really fun one of my best experience of all time. But in the meantime, I have a meet with Björn and Paul from Ion, and I want to go with something that fit the catalog. I know that Ion work with scientific. They work with historical games. So I think we in Argentina, we have a really strange period of history. We have a lot of things strange here in Argentina. There are a lot of things that you can understand what happened. Those things, if you aren't here, you can understand that. But I think if I go with a game of a period of time when we have 5 different presents, but not in 5 weeks as you thought, in just 1 week.
Yeah, I was doing some reading on this. So it came out to where it was 5 presidents essentially in 10 days, right?
Yeah.
So back in 2001 is when this took place. So it's not like it was ancient history. I mean, everybody who's in this game, they're all still alive. They're all still in politics, correct?
Not everyone.
Okay.
But several of them are still working here.
Okay, they're still in politics, right? Yeah.
Exactly. And the tester group that worked with me in the game was all of my age or close. I'm 46, so when this period happened, we all was we all was man, no children.
Yeah, no, you were adults.
We
Yeah.
live, we work to eat. So we know what was happening. We lived that period.
Yeah, you lived through this, but what?
Exactly.
So I get, okay, hey, I had a meeting with Ion Game Design, so I'm gonna bring them a game. But why did you pick this? Just because? Was it something that you were passionate about? Was it something that you just thought would be cool to somehow come up with a way to design a game around? But why this?
Because I think I thought that will be very interesting for all the gamers that love the history in the game. As we talked previously, the interview, one of the really cool things that has this hobby is the open the
The doors to history,
doors,
right?
yes.
Yeah.
Yes, the open the passion for history. I was hating history until I start to play board games, and then I become a passion about the historical facts of the whole world and the whole civilization.
And
It's
amazing.
I think that
sorry.
could be great for the world know what was happened here 20 years ago.
And the fact that you lived through it gives you a not only a personal connection to the topic, but also, you know, a more intimate knowledge than, say, if I were to, you know, somebody, you know, who isn't Argentinian, who didn't live through that period of time, wouldn't have. Now, so give folks that don't know about DerrocAr, I butchered that one. I'm working on
DerrocAr.
that.
DerrocAr.
So give folks like an overview of the game, like what they can expect from the game.
Well, they will find a filler, but a filler thinking for the heavy player.
Okay, so thinky filler game. Okay, all right. It's a card game, right?
Yeah. So some of the testers say that it's a hard filler.
Okay.
I think it's a good word because the game can be played in 1 hour. That's not a filler. The filler is 15 minutes, 20 minutes. But for the one that used to play games that are played for the whole night, like 6 hours, 7 hours, a game of 1 hour is a filler.
Is a filler, right. So
and the feeling also is a filler.
Okay.
You play, you have a lot of decision to make, and it's the kind of game that you know that in some turn, you know that if you commit a mistake, you will lose the game, or it will be harder to recompose. So you have to be alert on what happened and all the possibilities that has all the player, and read very well the table.
So it's
also
go ahead.
Also, you can play it more relaxing. It's the same way as Kinmo, but a much more hard level. So you can play relaxed, and will be a more chaotic experience when the conflict appears where you don't know. But but also if all the players know the games, could be a very strategic and very tense game.
So, how does the game play? Like, tell folks about that.
Yeah, the game are divided in 2 rounds. The first round you play with the boards. There are mini boards that represent the different building. Is the Casa Rosada, is the governor palace. You have the White House. We have the Pink House
All
in Casa
right.
Rosada. You have the Congress, where you can go and propose laws, and all the laws and the decrees that you can play in the Casa Rosada are real laws. That came with the real number of our laws that was dictated on those years. No?
Okay.
So
So
you
it's
get,
all historical. It's all
it's all
the real
historical,
world
yes.
stuff. Right. Gotcha.
Also, you can go to the Ministerio de Economía, economic secretary, economic minister.
Okay.
When you manage the international debt and the domestic debt and handle the support of the IMF, International Monetary Fund, and also the game of the riot, if you didn't, all the economic stuff, and all kind of those scenes, you do it in the board phase.
Okay.
After that, you prepare your act, and all the players do that. And after that, there is the card phase, when you play the card from your hand, and then you do blackmail, you make lobby, you make operations, use the intelligence service, and all kind of stuff, the floating things.
To
going,
either help your position or to tear down somebody else's, right?
Exactly. It's more directly the action with the cards are more for you or against you.
Right.
No? And it's always changing from one phase to the other. And it's very quick because once you already know the game, the idea is the game flows and the downtime between turn to turn was very low. And when the game gets stuck in one term, is because all the players are participate on that.
Because there's a fair bit of negotiation in there, right?
Yes, a lot of negotiation. It's a political game, so
Right.
there must be negotiation. There are negotiation when we go to the Congress to vote those. When you can exchange money for card with the other player. When you do the blackmail, or when we agree to help each other with other players to take off the conflict. Maybe they have a bad image conflict, and I have support with the press, so I can help you, but we need something in exchange.
So hey, I'll make your image look not as bad as it is. I'll help you out, but it's going to cost you. It's going to come at a cost, and yeah. So it is a heavy negotiation game along with it being a card game. Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
You know,
Exactly.
I watched you run some Ion folks through the TTS mod that y'all have for this, and it looked really interesting. And I like hearing about the negotiation aspect because, like you said, it's a political game and it's all about maneuvering, right?
Yeah.
Exactly. So with that said, how do you win the game? What's the goal of the game?
You can win in 3 different ways. The most common is proving that you are the least bad option.
You're not the best option. You're the
No,
least
no, you're
bad
never.
option. That's I'm glad
it's a
you can
critic.
laugh about that, seeing as it was your history. I'm glad you can laugh about that.
Yes, the game is a critic. It's a cynic critic
Okay,
of
yeah.
a politician.
Very, very cynical. I like that. I appreciate
Exactly.
that. Okay.
And you put the shoes on be an asshole that think only yourself and no matter what the people are living.
Mm-hmm.
So you put in that role, and it has to be an asshole when you play the game.
So, okay, let me ask you then, because this is something that I don't think us as Americans have to, it isn't something that is even in our consciousness that, okay, you mentioned the DerrocAr here is a cynical game. And it's kind of poking fun at those in power that how the hell did this happen? Like this is a terrible thing. There's no way this should have happened. However,
Yes.
Argentinians, and correct me if I'm wrong on this, are passionate and bringing up a topic like this. That isn't ancient history, that this is 20 years ago. So a lot of the people that are involved, like you said, still are in politics and all of that. Do you fear any kind of pushback on something like this? Or is it, you're Argentinian, you can do this, whereas me being an American, I couldn't make this game, that type thing?
Yeah, I'm sure that outside our country, you can't make a game like this because it's like in a stand-up comedy.
Okay.
That you are in front of the public and laughed about yourself. It's okay, but you can laugh about the other.
Aha. So laughing at yourself, okay, but whereas if I did it, I'm not from there, I don't have that history. Now I'm laughing at you, and that's not okay.
Exactly, because it was a tragedy.
Right.
It was a really hard period.
Sure.
It was live through that was terrible. It was terrible for all the Argentinian, and that also is represented in the game. Because we took the thing very serious. We work with a historian. We work with people that are están en política.
Expert in politics.
No, expert no. That are good.
Like the activists that were a part of. Yes.
Activists.
Yep.
Yeah, that's right. That's the word. So. And that saw the history from several points. No, I want to be the most accurate. Yes, the most accurate, but also I didn't find the word in Spanish.
Okay.
That's the problem. Imparcial.
Impartial. Yeah. Yes. Oh, okay. So you want it historic and being true to how it actually went.
Exactly, and accuracy and serious about the theme.
Okay.
Making laugh, making the game was making the game fun. The idea is that everybody have a good time playing. But also, if you read the manual and the historical background, learn what happened here, and be serious about that.
And I appreciate that, but you also, and this goes back to my conversation yesterday that I had with Basime about how she wanted, with Summer Ahmet, she wants it to be historical. She wants it to be true to history, but at the same time, you have to make it fun and make people want to play it so that you can tell your story, right?
Yes, yes. The difference here is that we laugh a lot of what happened. We took it in the in the funny way. The political humor is very well accepted here. So when we test the game, when we work on the game, we have a really fun time repeating the Dixit of the politician and talking with humor, all because that helped to relax about the topic.
Sure.
No, that helped to pass through the duel. And one of the things that I was afraid is that outside our country wasn't all the fun that is playing here. When we play here the game, we have a lot of fun, taking with humor what was happened. But I don't know if outside our country, don't knowing what really happened here is also fun. Then the people from Ion say me that the game is super fun and they enjoy the game even without know all the detail of our history. So the mission was accomplished.
Yeah, yeah.
And the ones who want to learn more will find more on the rule book to know the detail, and the one who wanna know more, there are a lot of stuff, there are a lot of books to read, and I said before, open the door to everybody who want to know more about.
Oh yeah, and that's one of the great things about this hobby. I've said that so many times. I love that aspect of this hobby. And now talking about kind of not taking yourself too seriously in this game. There's a card in this game. There are public appearances, right? The TV show, to where one of the main actors, if you will, one of the main characters in this game, and I believe it was one of the sitting presidents. Was it not?
Was the big president?
Yeah. Okay.
Was the president that was in charge, elected by the people, and after 2 years in the charge was toppled.
Yep.
Toppled.
Yeah.
Toppled.
Yep.
And that was the main character of the game, and this history. He goes to a TV show that was the most popular at that time. At the night, it was a comedy show, like Saturday Night Live.
Okay, all right.
That. But more improvised, more at live, no? So
okay, it kind of Saturday Night Live. Saturday Night Live meets Whose Line Is It Anyway? Got it. Okay. All right. Yeah.
And there always be a really funny guy that made a good imitation of them. So the idea is, come to get a better image of you, get in touch with the people, not show it so distant.
Sure. Look, I'm a man of the people. Hey, I can laugh at myself too. Didn't go so well, did it?
Yeah, that's right. And the slogan when he came to the presidency, where the slogan that helped to win the election was, they say I'm boring. Because the previous president was a big star, driving Ferraris and
very flamboyant, very showy, right? Okay,
yeah,
all right.
Yeah, that kind of guy. So De La Rua was other other image.
Sure, he
Of
was the
videos.
opposite. Very, very closed off. Very presidential.
Exactly.
Very.
So
right.
they say I'm boring,
Sure.
I'm boring of the injustice, I'm boring of that.
Right. So he went on that show, and it
They
didn't
try
go
to
well.
change. Yeah, they try to change that image, and the thing goes wrong. Goes wrong in all the things that can be wrong happened all the thing appeared from the audience one activist asking about the liberation of some people that was in jail by protest and suddenly they they didn't know what to say, they didn't have a speech prepared for that,
Right.
so the mood changed in a second. But then after the el conductor, the
Showrunner.
the showrunner,
Yeah.
the host try to get better the situation.
Sure.
They make some jokes, and when he leave the studio, the the background has two way out,
Okay.
two exit, but one wasn't an exit. Was a fake exit. It's just for the show. So they try to go away with the fake exit, and the show is still on air, and they go to the whole scenario looking for the exit, and was a fool, was a really fool, and show what he was. The same was there in front of the governor of Argentina was that defined it very well, and the reason why we reached the explosion that
Sure.
we reached
Why
at the
people
end
got fed
of-
up, right? There were a lot of factors. I was doing some reading on this the last couple days. There were a whole lot of economic reasons and a whole lot of things.
in the whole levels.
Yeah.
In the whole level, corruption, economy,
Right.
bad handle of things, a lot of things that go wrong. The lack of support of his partner, lot of things that go wrong, and that is represented in the game. There are a car that show that moment when you can play it and go to the random.
Maybe good, maybe bad. You don't know how it's going to turn out, right? Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah,
So-
it's really fun.
So the name DerrocAr.
DerrocAr.
Yeah. What's it mean? Where does it come from? Where does the name of the game come from?
It's thinking about the Ion line. There are several games that have the Tople.
Yeah, so like the kind of pack, the pack series, right? That had topple cards and stuff.
Exactly, the Topple. And Topple in Spanish is DerrocAr.
Well, there you go. All right.
And also the two last letters of DerrocAr are the letters that represent Argentina on the web.
Oh, so
on
like
internet.
Google.ar is Google for
Exactly.
Argentina. Got it. Okay.
.ar.
Yes.
So that's why we want to play with that, and also it's not just the topple of De La Rua, but also of the next president in the line, because we have 5 presidents.
Sure.
So there wasn't just one that fall. No, there was several that fall in the.
That's
in the
clever.
week.
That's really well done. I appreciate that. I like
Thank you.
the subtle touch on not only the name of the game, but the fact that the AR at the end. So that's cool. So
Yeah.
I'm excited for this, and like I said, I had never heard of the history of this until I heard about the game, and obviously with my partner, with Jess, and Ion and everything, when I heard about this, I was like, wait, 5 presidents in a couple of weeks. I was thinking this was back in the early 20th century, maybe around 1900, and then I found out, wait a minute, this was the year I got out of the Marine Corps. So this was recent history. And so obviously your game has already done a job, one of its jobs, in a sense that it's made me curious about it. And so I went and did some reading about it, and I learned about a part of history that I was completely ignorant about. So I appreciate that. So thank you for that aspect of it.
Thank you. It's the goal. It's the goal reached.
All right.
I'm glad to hear you.
Well, yeah, I'm stoked. And like I said, I watched the overview that you gave the folks at Ion and stuff on TTS. I'm looking forward to getting my hands on this. This is coming out, or it's going to GameFound when?
Tuesday.
Okay.
2 days. In 2
Okay.
days.
Yeah, that's right. It's actually so Ion is doing Summerama and DerrocAr together,
Yes.
right? Over on
I
GameFound.
love that. I love that idea. I think that was the same idea. And that was great because they are political games, but they are a very distant times and really opposite way to face the period. So you can play as cooperative in Samurama, and
Right.
you can go once against each other in DerrocAr, and a different way to face the political aspect of history.
Yeah, I think
I love the idea they go together.
I think DerrocAr is going to be pretty amazing with our group. We got some serious backstabbers in our game group here, and I'm looking forward to streaming this. I think this will be a lot of fun and pretty entertaining for people. Be pretty nasty here, so I'm looking forward to that. So you can find it. You can find it on GameFound on Tuesday. You can pre-order. And do you know about when these are supposed to be released? When it's actually supposed to come out?
The idea was April, but I guess with all the issues with the containers and the shipping, maybe will be July.
June. Okay, all right. So
I guess yes, a couple of months later of April.
that seems reasonable. I mean, if the worst thing in the world is we have to wait a couple extra months for a game, I think we'll be all right. But it is your baby, so I know you're excited about that.
Yeah.
All right, so
I'm looking forward to have it in my hand after a lot of work.
I'm sure. Okay, let me ask that before we get out of here then. How long have you been working on the game?
I have, since the release of Kinmo, that goes very well, I start to think a lot of different games. So I always, when I thought in one mechanic that seemed interesting, I put in a box in my head or in some dock. So I start to work on that before I know that I will work on that.
Okay, all right.
So when the idea to present something to Ion on the
2019, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I look in that boxes to find some mechanics, but then I start to working a full on that when Ion say mainly Beyond. I remember Beyond from Down on Titan. He opened his eyes when the idea of the game. He loves the idea, and now he's the developer of DerrocAr. So when he likes the idea, I start to work very strong on the game, almost all the days thinking on that,
Sure.
and I I gather a team of 6 or 7 play testers here in Argentina,
Mm-hmm.
and we play it a lot, 2 or 3 times by week
Mm-hmm.
of the weeks, playing and designing. No, so they came with idea, I processed. I came with another idea, we process a lot of interactive work, and also then when that ideas fit well, I show to Bjorn and John, and they give me feedback. A lot of work since that.
Okay. So it's been in development essentially for 3 years, but the ideas
Yeah.
go back as many as 6 when you finish with Kimmo, huh?
Yes, exactly.
Awesome. That's fantastic. I can't wait to try it. I'm looking forward to it. So, folks, you can give it take a look at it on Tuesday over on GameFound, and hopefully we'll have it in our hands by next summer. It sounds like so. So, Bruce, I appreciate you doing this today, and
No,
thanks to
thank you very much to invite me. It's a big time for me being here.
Well,
You already know that I watched the show, so it's awesome to be here.
Well, I appreciate the kind words, but it's exciting for me to be able to find out about this stuff and to be able to talk with designers, developers, publishers, and all that, and hear these stories, because that I think is such a huge part of this hobby, and being able to hear people's personal connection to these games, whether it's from designing them or even just playing them, I think is amazing. So being able to have this and to be able to relate to your personal involvement with the game that you lived through, I think is awesome, man. So thank you a lot. Thank you very much for doing this today, taking the time. Thanks to the folks over at SDHistCon for partnering up on this, helping make all this possible. Thanks to the folks over at Ion for publishing the game, and I can't wait to play it, man. All right?
Great.
All right, you have a great rest of your day. And also, one thing we didn't mention, you had mentioned this before the stream. Today's election day there, is it not?
Yes, a very special day to talk about DerrocAr.
Right? I mean,
Yes.
have you voted, or are you going to vote after this?
No, I got very early
Okay.
because here the election are mandatory.
Really?
You must go to vote.
Okay.
So you can choose not to vote.
Okay. Well, yeah, I think that's
very different.
the serendipitous timing of this. I did not know that until you had mentioned it before we went live. That's amazing. So
Yeah,
good luck.
It's awesome.
I hope it's less chaotic. Okay. All right. You take care, Bruce. Thanks everybody for watching, and I'll be back later on this week. We have a lot of content coming. We got Weather Machine, we got Hegemony, we got a bunch of playthroughs coming, so be sure to tune in for the weekly look ahead, Monday at noon, and I'll see you then. Take care, everybody.
Bye.